Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 5.
We spend so much of our time in the winter inside that it's nice to get out and let the kids be active and get some energy out and run around and play.
By now, you have probably heard about the idea to create a new police force in Fargo. Only this time, the one-person department will be in charge of the parks where your kids play. Good evening, and thank you for joining us. So we wanted to know, are the parks really that dangerous that we need a new police force? Valley News Team's Bradford Eric has what parents and taxpayers need to know.
New Fargo Parks Executive Director Joel Vettel is wasting no time getting down to business. His idea was approved last night by the Park Board. It's essentially a one-person Fargo Park Police Department, someone to coordinate safety at the well over 100 facilities under the Park District's umbrella.
I've never felt threatened or worried about the kids being here, or never had an issue at any of the parks I've been to.
Crystal Schneider says she visits Fargo Parks several times a month, mainly for her little ones to run around and get fresh air. Another woman I spoke with said she walks in Lindenwood Park every day and frequently sees police swing through. So are you in danger just being at the park?
You know, there's issues in every park. Dangerous, I think that's a matter of perspective.
Fargo police say yes, there are crimes committed at Fargo Parks.
They range from assaults to fights, drug activity. There's a reason why we do try to patrol the parks as much as possible.
It's interesting to note that in the bylaws of the Fargo Park District, quote, every policeman of the city of Fargo, whether on or off duty, is hereby designated a park policeman with full authority. Right above that, the commissioners have the authority to appoint park policemen, however.
I'd put it as a low threat level. Because crime, the reality is crime can happen anywhere. Crime does happen anywhere, in the schools, in the college campuses, in the business setting.
So should you avoid the parks? No. Get out and enjoy the open space. You just have to be aware of who and what's around you. Bradford Eric, Valley News Live.
Joel Vettel is on the road attending a conference in Williston this Wednesday, but the Park District tells us they hope to fill the position by spring of next year. This would be the first of its kind police force in North Dakota. After a chilly morning, it was nice to see the warm-up. So what about this evening? Here's Hutch Johnson with more details. Hutch?
You know, from frost to fabulous, that's just weather in the northern plains this time of the year. Gorgeous skies over the region, and temperatures, as promised, have seen a 10-degree bump over what we had yesterday. Light winds and 60s for most, a few 70s in the Southern Valley. Our planner for tonight looks pretty dry as the radar keeping most of the moisture in the Rocky Mountain West. Temperatures in those mid-60s by 7 o'clock tonight with a south-southeast breeze quite light, and it will stay clear all evening. It will stay quiet all evening, and it will stay dry all evening, but we cannot say it will stay dry the rest of the week. I'll have details on some thunderstorms, some strong ones possibly, in the forecast here in just a couple of moments.
Kids who hopped on the bus this morning in shorts may have been regretting it a little bit.
I saw a lot of people mixing shorts with coats.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Thanks, Hutch.
You bet.
Beltrami and Clearwater counties are asking for state aid after a storm uprooted trees, knocked down power lines, and ripped roofs off of buildings in July. The Department of Public Safety and Homeland Security will visit the areas over the next 2 days to assess the damage. Here's video from Bemidji, Minnesota. Debris blocked roadways and caused widespread power outages. 2 tribal governments have also joined the counties to request funding through the State Disaster Assistance Program. Local emergency managers reported more than $289,000 worth of damages, both in Beltrami County and on the Leech Lake Reservation, and an additional $289,000 in Clearwater County and on the White Earth Reservation. 24-year-old Musa Bawazar of Grand Forks has been arrested and charged with robbery by strong-arm tactics. Police say he was trying to take money out of the cash register at the Carmike Cinema in Grand Forks yesterday afternoon. An employee says they caught Bawazar trying to open the register. That's when police were called in and they arrested him. A Crookston man who pleaded guilty to being nude while threatening to kill and rape children is in trouble again. 33-year-old Eric Olson faces a new drug charge while he's waiting to be sentenced on the first charges. Valley News Team's Neil Carlson has the latest on Olson, whose latest charges stem from being arrested with a Crookston woman.
It happened here on the 800 block of North Main Street on March 14th. According to court documents, Eric Olson pled guilty under a plea agreement to being nude while masturbating as small children got off a bus. He was also threatening to kill and rape the kids, who all safely ran to their homes. Olson was arrested a short time later. Olson had been out of jail since April 30th after posting $1,200 bail. Under the plea agreement, he pled guilty to charges of threats of violence and criminal sexual conduct in the 5th degree for lewd exhibition. He could have been facing as much as 5 years in prison. He was scheduled to be sentenced next week. But Olson is already back behind bars. He's joined by 26-year-old Elaine Sunquist of Crookston. Their vehicle was pulled over by police in downtown Crookston this week for not wearing seatbelts. A search of the car revealed meth. Both now face a felony controlled substance charge. In Crookston, Neil Carlson, Valley News Live.
Both Eric Olson and Elaine Sunquist have long criminal histories, including drug charges. Dozens of students from Sisseton High School showed up to a school board meeting begging members to keep Native American imagery in their homecoming celebration. Despite the show of support, the school board decided to remove all Native American images and depictions from homecoming ceremonies this year and in the future. The students on the homecoming committee wanted to keep them because it's a long-running tradition, but the school board says it's time to start being sensitive to the Native American culture. It's a debate the school has had for years, but after running out of time to plan the specifics of the outfits students would wear during the ceremony, they made a last-minute decision to remove all images altogether, leaving the student committee just a few days to plan something new.
The students are disappointed that they were given this information in such a short amount of time. It is a tight timeline for them to put something together that's meaningful and that they can appreciate and be honored at as seniors.
We're not just talking about the Sisseton Wampanoag Day, we're talking about the Dakota Nation, and the same thing with other cultures, whether it be Hispanic, African American.
The homecoming ceremony will be held next week, and the students plan to use Greek mythology as their theme instead. The White House is planning to increase the number of refugees accepted into the United States from around the world to at least 110,000 in 2017, a senior administration official told CNN. That's a big increase from the 85,000 it will accept this year. The reason is the administration is trying to be consistent with its belief that people should be able to remove themselves from suffering. The United States refugee policy has been a top campaign issue in this year's election. In the race for the White House, today's breaking news is no big medical news. Hillary Clinton released results of medical tests and exams that show her getting better and generally healthy. Clinton's campaign released the medical details as she is recovering from pneumonia at home, and she's in, well, good health. The remainder of her physical exam says normal, and her doctor says she's in excellent mental condition. Meanwhile, a new poll by Politico and Morning Consult shows that 44% of those polled believe that Clinton's health would negatively affect her presidency, and roughly 30% of people believe she could die during her first term. With several North Dakota hunting seasons now underway this coming weekend, the focus shifts to kids. Doug Lear with the North Dakota Game and Fish Department was in our studio this morning and says youth deer and waterfowl seasons are set for the weekend.
Focus on the youth this weekend. Our youth deer season opens up on Friday at 12 noon. That goes for about 10 days, and then our youth waterfowl weekend is Saturday and Sunday. You hit on a really good point is that, yes, this weekend definitely puts the spotlight on young deer hunters and young duck and goose hunters. Their kind of time to shine. But we also try to stress to people that it's not the only time that they can go hunting.
Lear says a good way to start off your little one in hunting is to enroll them in hunter's education. A local group is raising money this weekend to help cover the training program and competition for athletes with special needs. It's the first of its kind in Fargo-Moorhead. It's called the Fargo Mania Row Raiser. The Row Raiser event kicks off Saturday at 7:30 in the morning at the train depot on Main and Broadway downtown. The event is open to everyone and all activity levels too. Teams of 10 will row a marathon, which is 26.2 miles. Each person will row about 10 to 15 minutes. Then the next person will jump on. The organizers want to bring awareness to the FM area that even those with disabilities can work out.
So it's not necessarily about making them athletic. It's more about making them stronger and more independent. So it's about building their strength, both physically and their confidence, so that they can be able to be a little more independent and do more things for themselves and not necessarily need quite so much help. A lot of times they're led to believe that they are disabled, so the focus becomes on their disability, where we really want to turn that focus on their abilities and what they can do.
The money raised from the event will go toward helping train 29 special needs athletes for 8 weeks and also toward the competition. Is it now okay to download Apple's latest update? Hear what Apple is saying. Still ahead tonight.
Temperatures well into the 60s this afternoon. It was quite pleasant and will continue to be so for the evening. I'll have details on some rain and thunder in your forecast coming up right after this.